What's up, everybody? Welcome back. If you're coming back from another one of the 289 series build, if you're new to the series, this is where I'm building the 289 that's going to go into the 65 fastback. But in today's video, we're going to be installing the oil pump, the oil screen, and the oil pan. I'll be leaving links to all these parts in the description, as well as the gasket kit that I have been using throughout the series. Okay, so before getting started, I like to lay out everything to make sure I have everything I'm going to need and everything's in order. So of course we have our oil pump gaskets right there, and the screen, and then the oil pan gaskets, as well as the end gaskets. And then we have our hardware for the oil pan and our hardware for the oil pump, as well as our RTV. Okay, first we're gonna get our oil pump drive shaft and make sure it goes into the right hole. So it'll be that one right there, and it's gonna go with the little indent right there, or little keeper facing down, so it won't pop out when you're changing the distributor. Once again, it's gonna go into this hole. We're just gonna let it sit there, and then we'll grab our oil pump. Okay, so while we have our oil pump right here, we're gonna make sure the drive shaft that's right here goes into this indent, which is kind of like a hex shape. So once again, we're gonna make sure it goes in. We're just gonna go ahead and pop it in right here and make sure it goes in back into the hole, which it did. And of course we forgot to put on the gasket, so go ahead and do that. Next up, we're gonna install the hardware, and I accidentally got 12-point bolts instead of the regular 6. So I won't be able to torque it down to spec. This gets torqued down to 25 foot-pounds, so we're just gonna have to get a feel for it. Okay, now oil pump is in and the drive shaft is in as well. I went ahead and turned the engine around to give you guys a better view of the screen installation. So once again, we're gonna get our gasket. I'm gonna go ahead and feed one bolt in to keep the gasket in place. Probably should have done the top one. Okay, next bolt. Making sure we're not crimping our gasket, or folding it rather. And these go torqued down to around 12 to 15. But once again, I don't have a 12-point socket, so we're just gonna have to get a feel for it. Alright, and that is in. Okay, now that our pump and screen and drive shaft are in, we're going to go ahead and use some ultra black RTV and lay a thin or a medium-sized bead around and along the gasket surface. Okay, now that we have our not so pretty bead laid on the block, I'm going to go ahead and just set down our gasket. You want to align it, just kind of tap it into place. Same thing on the other side. Okay, now we're going to put on our caps and make sure we press it in all the way. Alright, so that's the rear. Now we're going to do the front. Okay, now we're going to lay another thin bead on top of the gasket. Alright, now that our RTV is in place, we're going to lightly place the oil pan over, trying to align it the best that we can. Lightly press it. So we let the RTV tack up a little bit. So I'm going to start threading in the corner bolts just to give us a little bit better alignment. Alright, now we're going to install the rest of our hardware. I'm not going to tighten it down just yet. Now that the hardware is all in, we're going to go ahead and torque them down to 15 foot-pounds. I'm going to torque these smaller ones to 15, but the end ones, since they're a little bigger, we're going to go ahead and torque them to 18. We're going to follow the same pattern we did with the head gaskets. We're going to go from the center outwards. Okay, so everything is torqued down. I was having a little bit of problems with the torque wrench, so I kind of just guessed with the regular ratchet, but I also ran a thin bead of RTV through the front and rear seals, just for a little bit of extra protection. But I might have used a little too much RTV, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. Alright guys, looks like that's it for the oil pan installation. We did have a couple problems with the torque wrench. It looks like it wasn't clicking, so I over torqued some of them a little bit, enough for the gasket to rip. Hopefully it doesn't leak, but it looks like that's it. Next up, we're going to be installing the lifters, push rods, and rocker arms. So that's going to be the next video. Once again, thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next one.